Hello, welcome to the 30th day of November 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation, a live video exercise that I do each and every day at 5:30 a.m. to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with the various challenges and opportunities that I met. I go over my creed and I prepare for the coming day. But first, hello to new subscribers. It's good to have you here. I'm Kurt, a 61-year-old retired American living in the countryside of Japan with my Japanese wife. Our daughter's here too, but she lives up in Tokyo. She's grown and off on her own life. I do this every day, and it's kind of like a journal entry, a live video broadcast journal entry. So as such, I'm at liberty to talk about anything I want for as long as I want or as little as I want. But I do need to reliably go over the 8 objectives of my creed, at least to name them. I often go into some depth on them, but normally I just name them out. It helps me to tune myself to kind of like tuning a guitar every day, aligning myself to the 8 strings of my creed. So I'm pointed in the right direction every day. I do reliably talk about death pretty much every day. Yeah, so if you're sensitive to that subject, be forewarned. And a huge thank you again to my subscribers and Patreon supporters. I really do appreciate you. With that, let's go ahead and get started. Looking at my notes, I do keep notes every day as things unfold. For the last 24 hours, I just have one simple note here. It simply says, and this is a very rare thing for me to just say it so plainly like this, a very nice day. It really was just a really nice day yesterday. I didn't really can't think of any particular uh, noteworthy challenges or opportunities that I met. I met plenty of them along the way, but I kind of handled them in a handily manner. In turn, it gets easier as time goes by. The more once one has a once one has a creed, and once one learn, and if that creed is good and sound, and one learns to abide one's creed, that becomes a little easier to get by because we have an operating system and operating set of standards by which we're living and practice living. Sometimes it's rough, but yesterday happened to be, a day without really any noteworthy things. I even handled some of the more pedestrian and mundane challenges that I meet almost every day in a rather forthright way. So I don't need to give any details. Yesterday was a very nice day. I will tell you this though: I have every day by day, ever since the this passage of this summer, I'm kind of feeling uh, like like an actor who maybe lingered on the stage a little too long. It's good for me to kind of retire back away. I'm glad with this one video a day that I'm doing right now. Not really engaging in other social media activities. Just this feels like a good measured dose. The days are more like my own now. For example, yesterday, my wife and my sister-in-law and I went to Fuji City to attend a um, a lovely antique flea market that we've enjoyed, that I went to in the spring with them as well. Back then, I was in the height of my retiring in Japan YouTube series, documenting every day what was going on. I kept that up for almost a solid year. I'd say maybe more like 3/4 of a year solidly. And yesterday, I went back to the same event, but without any idea or motivation or interest even in videotaping the event. And I really enjoyed it. I spent more time talking to the vendors, catching up with friends in the antique trade whom I've come to know over the last year. Uh, some of them that I knew before I went back to America. And I really enjoyed the day. And I was like, this is something. And then later I was watching some YouTubers in the evening who are kind of filling the void that people like myself used to fill in the past on YouTube. And I was even more so, this is interesting. And it is. All right. So with that, that was yesterday. As for, oh, and I did decide what I was going to do with regard to a car rental. I'm going to America in just over a week now. And I'm going to rent a car for the first 4 days and then rent a car for the last 4 days. And in the in between time, I'll live like the locals. That'll work out well. All right. So as for my creed, it consists of 8 objectives as follows. Number one, to be ready to die at all times, having my affairs, relationships, and life's work in order. Number two, to make good and effective use of my time, to leverage my moments as best I can, to do things and act and engage in ways that I won't regret should I, in fact, die tonight, and to know that I'm headed down. Number three is to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, which are exactly those objectives and principles that I've codified in my book, Going Alone, and living according to them and maintaining them each and every day. Objective number four is to cultivate good emotional reactions so that I'm responding well to the challenges and the opportunities that I meet each day, not flying off the handle, not uh, letting myself, spin out in excess investiture or engagement where such is not necessary. Due process in due proportion, especially relative to my emotions. The fifth objective is to develop and maintain. Is to uh, live my life is to do good things according to my values. Thinking about that yesterday, I was thinking about my new job, working with young adults from challenged countries in the world, looking to get a head start up in the world to help their families back home. And I was doing some studying about that, and I really gained some interesting perspectives relative to that. Number six is to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities, so I know the scope of my capabilities and my reach, and so I am invested in only so far as I know my investments can have good means, good effort, right? Shouldn't invest myself in stuff that I cannot achieve. Although it's tricky to know sometimes just how far that may be, because sometimes the achievement occurs not in the act itself, but in the reverberation through time that may come. For example, with this new job, which I think is going to be a fantastic venue and forum for me to live out my life according to my creed, working with young adults, like I said, whom I can help to further their ends, their virtuous and worthwhile ends. Number seven is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. And number eight is to gain and maintain a sense of balance in life, which comes as a consequence of attendance to the first seven objectives. The 35 principles that I use are the tools that help me to maintain and achieve the objectives that I have in mind. And I like to read one every day. Today I'm going to read the principle titled Temperance, a very important principle that I utilize on a daily basis. In the hardbound edition of Going Alone, this would be on page 260. Temperance, which of course in practical sense simply means restraint. Temperance in the sub-principles of suffering, simplicity, and apathy, because we suffer when we deny ourselves what we want. A temperate life is, by definition, a simple life, and apathy is the capability that we can use to distance ourselves from our feelings relative to events beyond our control. This relates to temperance insofar as it's a control of the consumption of thought and even the consumption of feelings in some ways relative to the circumstances in our lives, particularly those that are beyond our control, beyond us. And a quote: "Keep your tongue and your belly under control." That's from Anthony the Great, one of the desert fathers. Temperance. Temperance is the controlled consumption of all things, such as food and drink, work and play, and even our thoughts and emotions. I will strive to recognize these consumables and then measure out a reasonable portion for myself and then strive to consume very little of that. Such worthy living naturally entails some suffering when we deny ourselves our wants, though a simple life makes this easier when the denial becomes part and parcel of our habits and conditioned response. I will then apply apathy towards the intemperance of others, as well as any personal misadventure which is beyond my control. I will recognize my own excess and that of my peers, and then use apathetic indifference as a buffer to prevent my consumption of the Feast of Offal. Another principle, principle number 18. Temperance then is a superpower, the ability to use reason to recognize when we've reached a point where we're in danger of going overboard with emotion and thought even, and action even, and we then dial in the self-control to limit what we do, what we say, and even if we can, if possible, what we feel, to better attend the uh, ambitions that are truer ambitions in accordance with our values. All right. As for today, my goal for today simply is to have a fun day. It's a Sunday. I could do a little bit of preparation for my trip, but I think I'll leave that for the upcoming week. I have the full week free. I have no lessons next week. I've turned off all my online language school lessons until I get back from America, and I'll use all of next week to prepare for my trip. That's it for today's notes. Let's go ahead and read comments. Hello, Tim. Good morning to you. Tim says weather check for the UK at 8:35 p.m. is 4.8 degrees Celsius and 94% humidity. A gray, cold, and rainy day. Tim, over here it is currently well, it looks like it's about 8 degrees, and and that'd be about 80% humidity. Looks like I can see that no clouds, so it should be a sunny day. Should be a nice day. Evelyn, hi, Evelyn. Evelyn says hi to myself and Tim. Tim says hi to Evelyn. Evelyn says it's 1 degree Celsius and 83% humidity in Bologna, Italy. Only 2 more days to go here. Not easy to leave this beautiful place, I'll bet, but Greece awaits. Sarah, hi, Sarah. Good morning. Sarah says good morning to myself, Tim, and Evelyn, and a wave and a smile. Tim says hi to Sarah. Evelyn says hi to Sarah. All right, everybody. Well, that's it for today. Sometimes there's a lot, sometimes there's a little. I hope everybody has a good day ahead, or if you're not currently engaged in one, I know some of us are over in the UK. We're just almost on the opposite ends of the day, huh, Tim? And a day away. And you as well, Evelyn. I hope that everybody sleeps well. Those of you that head to bed, and those who you are in the midst of your day, let's make it a good one. I have another comment here from Vivian. Hi, Vivian. Vivian says, hi, Kurt and friends. We had a beautiful beach day here in Rio de Janeiro today. Wow. I can just imagine a beach day in Rio. It's good to see you, Evelyn, Viviana. Vivian. Sorry. I'm leaning back. I can't read it at a distance. And Sarah says, it's incredible when we are without our phones and distractions, how much we enjoy being present. I'm happy to hear you enjoyed an antique market. Talking to vendors, it was a lot of fun, definitely. Met some very interesting people, including other vendors, not vendors, but patrons who are YouTubers. And I hope I found their channels, and I was looking at their channels and watching other people document the way I used to document. Hey, there's April. Udatsu Adventures. Morning, Kurt. Hope you're doing well. You too, April. It's good to see you. Evelyn says hi to Vivian. And Tim says, have a great Sunday. Thank you, Tim. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Be safe, but not too safe. And as for me, tonight, I will die in my sleep. Take care.